when I think back on my life, I kind of categorize the time and the different stages of life based on the music that it was listened to at the time. And I remember particularly kind of being, at the age that these students are now and thinking, that's the music that kind of helped us to sort of form up, what we believed and stuff we were passionate about and all that. Do you feel that way?
You mean in terms of the era, the music that we grew up on, defined our...
Yeah.
Yeah. Having the brothers that I did, I got to be, introduced to their music. So my brother Pat, the one at Baton Rouge, he brought in Pink Floyd into the house. I love Pink Floyd because of that. Of course, I think a lot of people do anyway, and I would have probably picked up on Pink Floyd, but I was pretty young. My first 45 that I remember listening to was Creedence Clearwater, Down on the Corner, Looking Out My Back Door, one of those two. And the Beatles, Beatles was Day Tripper. We had a 45 of that. So I'm born in 62. So 68 was when I was tuned in already to music.
Yep.
And I would come home and dial the radio around. I love the Carpenters. They had that song, Why Do Birds Suddenly Appear? I would come home. I thought she was singing to me, and I would dial. It was on those on 3 radio stations: KFRC, KYA, and KLIV. Those are the 3 AM radio stations that I was just always listening to. I'd go to sleep and I'd listen to that stuff. And there was a really a swath of songwriters back then from that era. Dylan, Neil Young, Joni Mitchell, America, and some one-offs that you didn't, maybe one-hit wonders you didn't hear from again, but they were all influenced.
Oh, yeah.
They were all on the radio a lot. You didn't have to go find them. They were right there on the radio all the time. And I feel pretty lucky to have been listening at that time. Then disco hit. Like around, I was about 13 or 14, disco hit, and I had a choice: heavy metal or disco. And I went heavy metal. Not heavy metal, but Aerosmith, Led Zeppelin, Blue Oyster Cult. Those are the bands that I started listening to and playing. And I was a teenager, so I really wanted the more aggressive stuff. And then I fell back into my acoustic roots pretty soon after that. After my mid-20s, I was playing the ballads again and getting into this kind of music.
When you think back on that, and when again, I know that you really kind of developed your chops playing covers, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But is that so? When you think back on when you really first started writing and really keeping and performing the songs, did you find that? Do you think that there's some of those songs that really you were finding the voice from
no
what
doubt.
you've been listening to?
Yeah, just by learning Jimmy Buffett, learning Fogelberg, learning Bread. I sang Bread in songs. I still will sing Bread, no matter what you think of them. I still like David Gates and Bread. I found a diary underneath a tree.
So
that was a departure. I'm sorry, I didn't. Well, the kids don't. I don't know how old y'all are at Schreiner. Probably 30 years too late to even know what that song is, but. Or care, right? Yeah.
So, no, my question really that I was kind of getting to is, I think for me and probably a lot of us, you end up consciously or unconsciously at some of the early stuff you're ripping off the people that you listen to.
Yeah, I'm sure I did. Paul Simon would be one of the people that I know that I borrowed from.
Yep.
That old Elton John stuff, Yellow Brick Road, Cat Stevens, Neil Young for sure. I played a lot of Neil Young, Jackson Browne, Harry Chapin, Storyteller. I did gravitate to storytelling lyrics even early on. I cared about storytelling back then, and I liked that I was hearing it. That's probably why I care about it.
Right.
Now, that's not to say that I don't know what the stories are like in today's music, because I'm not today's music. I don't go out and buy the new stuff. But I'm sure there's storytelling in those too. That's what songs are.
Yeah, it's a different form.
Most of them are stories of some kind.
You guys have another question?
Can you tell us about Scarecrow?
Sure. It's a song I wrote called Scarecrow. It's about a 10-year-old song now. I was in a relationship, and this woman was very much a water person. And I just have dreams about drowning, you know. So I was the scarecrow. If you want to go into the metaphor of that, I'm the scarecrow in that song, and she's the seabird. And it was a way for me to sort of talk about the relationship for what it was, which was a little bit flawed and wasn't going to work. And for me to sort of come to terms with the differences between us and how we lived and what we wanted in life, you know. Is that an intro to?
Yeah, I think it was.
Okay. If you guys just ask for the song, I can do that too without having to explain it. All right. Yeah. She's a seabird, I'm a scarecrow. She came to rest upon my elbow. She flies fast, I watch the corn grow. Will she come back? Well, damned if I know. Damned if I know. Dirty collar, wrinkled pockets, felt hat hanging across my sockets, arms of wood, crooked jaw. Am I the saddest thing? Am I the saddest thing she ever saw? She's a seabird, I'm a scarecrow. Will I turn to driftwood in the shallows? Well, damned if I know. Damned if I know. Could I go beyond the barbed wire? If I could walk, I'd run like wildfire. To the beaches, to the boats, where she dives and where she floats. That song, big blue water to a scarecrow. Will I turn to driftwood in the shallows? Well, damned if I know. Damned if I know. Damned if I know. I chase off a flock of thieves, but one lone robber ain't afraid of me. Where she lands and when she leaves ain't got much to do with me. That song, deep blue water to a scarecrow. Will I turn to driftwood in the shallows? Well, damned if I know. Damned if I know. She's a seabird, I'm a scarecrow. She came to rest upon my elbow. She flies fast, I watch the corn grow. She come back? Well, damned if I know. Damned if I know. Damned if I know.